What's up, nerds? Welcome back to the channel. Today we've got a brand new product for you coming from Mule Fishing. We're really excited about this one. This is the everything worm. Is this possibly the best ultralight fishing plastic? Maybe. In our opinion, it's definitely the most versatile plastic out there that you can be using for ultralight or BFS fishing, and we want to break it all down today. So this is the brand new Jackworm from Mule Fishing. Ethan reached out to us a while ago, let us know this thing was coming. We honestly had no idea what to expect. He was like, curly tail worm, finesse. I was like, all right, cool. No idea what that's gonna be like. You know the old trick worm, the finesse worm, the curly tail worms, they all get it done. Now, what if you put that into an itty bitty package? I mean, itty bitty for a worm. This is 3.9 inches. Coming in a whole bunch of really cool colors that we have come to expect from Mule Fishing. I'm holding Dakota Sunrise right here. We're gonna take an up close look at them today. And I've got 5 off the wall rigs that I think you guys should try, or at least give a chance with your finesse tactics. So if you love ultralight fishing, if you love BFS, or if you just want to do some regular fishing and you're looking for a real finesse worm, this could be a great option for you. Let's break it down. So here is the worm in one of my favorite colors. This one looks a little bit dirty because I used it. We tried to do this video on the river the other day. The problem we've been running into is that it has been rainy, stormy, nasty. And what that does to the rivers is it turns them into chocolate milk and it makes the fish real finicky. So they're all pushed off to God knows where, and we cannot find them, and they are a pain in the butt. So we've been catching nothing but dinks, and it's been a struggle bus, but we did get a chance to put this to the test as far as rigging it, looking at the action of it, and that's why this one looks a little bit dirty. This color is Rodeo Clown. It's one of my favorite colors. Don't sleep on this color. I know it looks crazy. It's like Junebug and orange, but gosh dang it. You got that green flake throughout, giving it a really nice flash, little orange hue on the bottom, and nice purpley hue up top. Also, if you didn't know, all Mule plastics do this. They're hyper durable and stretchy. This is something that is great for your finesse ultralight BFS baits because these in regular old plastisol tend to fall apart. You're gonna go through a million of them. So this is what we're looking for when it comes to ultralight fishing. This is fantastic. There's a million ways that you can rig these things. I'm gonna run through all the colors with you guys real quick so you can see those. And then we're gonna look at some rigs, but as you can see, it's a worm. You can do all sorts of worm stuff with it. On the surface, you're seeing a worm with a little curly tail, and you're like, okay, I've seen curly tail worms, seen finesse worms before. They're great, they're fine, whatever. What makes this one special? Right down here at the tail, there's a little ridge, right? See that ridge there? So right there is a snipping point. What we can do is this is designed to be cut off. You can run the whole curly tail if you want. It is super durable, so it will hold up for a while. But you can just cut that right there, and what you end up with is a cut tail worm. If you guys aren't familiar with cut tail worms, it's just a worm with a flat section at the end. Generally, really small flat section, and what that does is it gives you a whole bunch of added action. So if we cut this off, you're looking at just that piece right there. You know what? Heck it, let's cut it off. I got a bunch of these. So let's take this green pumpkin, for example, and let's give it that cut tail modification. So all I gotta do is find my ridge there, try not to drop my plastic on the floor to be lost forever. And then I'm just cutting across and bam, there we go. So now we have a cut tail worm, just like that. Take your little curly extension there and toss that away. Not in the water, in the trash. So now we have a cut tail worm, pretty cool. Next step, we could actually cut this down a little bit further and just end up with a trick worm, a finesse worm, right? Take the cut tail off, now we've got a regular old finesse worm. We could trim it up a little bit further if we want just like a chunky Ned. I can trim it up around here, maybe even up a little bit further. And what I end up with is a 2.5 inch Ned that I can just slap on a jig. I like to go this direction up for the Ned rig because then we get this tapered effect, more action, and you get the fatter rigging section up top. So it's gonna pair up better with some of the Mule jigs. As you can see, if you go the other direction, there is a reason that you would, but if you go the other direction, it's not gonna pair up perfectly with the size of the Mule jig head. Your other option with rigging these though is you can cut it from the top down. So instead of leaving this fat section up top, let's say I'm threading this onto a jig. I'll show you one in a second. What I can do is I can actually cut it around the middle section here, and then I can have this tapered high action section, even keep my curly tail on a jig, which makes a really cool trailer. Not only jigs, but also spinner baits and chatter baits. fantastic trailer for that, and borderline indestructible. So let's take a peek at the colors available. We have just about one of each, I believe. So I showed you the rodeo clown, nice flashy June bug and orange. We've got a white worm. Fantastic. It's gonna work in many different situations. Your Clearwater Special, Dakota Sunrise, kind of like a morning dawn, little purple and pink. The all-around best, Green Pumpkin. It's gonna get it done no matter where you are. The Dirty Water Special, actually we've got two here. Rodeo Clown, by the way, is dirty water and clean water, but it excels in stained water. That's where I fish it the most, and it just absolutely crushes it. But we got a black and blue here, which is absolutely gonna get it done. And we have what Ethan has labeled as Wildflower, which is sort of like this, I don't know, is this fluorescent, iridescent creamsicle? There's some pink and orange in there. This thing is hyper bright, highlighter orange. It's insane. That's gonna have some really good applications in dirty and stained water. I'm excited to try that one out. So you've seen some of the modifications. As you can tell, like the Jackworm is sort of this jack of all trades. Now, I'm not aware of any other worms like this on the finesse market. You guys tell me if I am incorrect, especially if they are hyper durable, stretchy plastic, right? But if you do know of some that we should be trying out, hit us up in the comments. Let us know. Let's look at some rigs. I showed you one. It was a little bit janky, but it totally caught fish this weekend when nothing else was catching fish. The first thing I tried, as soon as I got this worm, I was like, I know exactly what I want to do with this. I want to put it on a finesse spinnerbait. So I took the Mule Fishing Bronco blade. You see the MF right there. So Mule Fishing Bronco blade in orange. And if you guys haven't seen this before, it's kind of like a beetle spin with HD parts. That's the way I think of it. Beetle spins have been working forever. This is the HD upgraded, modernized version of that. So you got the HD swivel there. It's going to hold up really well. You got premium Colorado blades coming in many different colors. This one is orange, but there's also chartreuse and silver and gold. And we paired that up with a 3/32 ounce jig because I was in the river. I wanted to be a little bit heavier. See if I could set this thing down a little bit deeper in the water. And the Rodeo Clown color. So that's purple, orange, Rodeo Clown, purple and orange. Get it? Kind of a good pairing. And I left about half the worm. You can see I cut it just about in half with the curly tail there. So I'm getting action from the spinning of the blade and a ton of action from the curly tail. This thing is deadly. I promise you, you're gonna catch a lot of fish with this thing. Something I could have done better with that is pair it up with a smaller jig head. Now in a lake or a pond application, that'll work. In the river with a current, I want it a little bit heavier. So it's kind of a mismatch on the jig head size to the plastic, but sue me. You'll be hearing from my lawyers. Next up is a classic. If you guys haven't tried a finesse worm, a trick worm, a curly tail worm, or any other finessey plastic application on a chatterbait, you're missing out. Check this out. So we got the Z-Man Chatterbait Mini here. These things are absolutely phenomenal. And this is in chartreuse and white, good classic color. And down here at the end, what do we have? Oh, I cut the curly tail off and left just the finessey worm part. So this is gonna give us a ton of action in the water. It's super durable. It's gonna hold up for a long time and just gives you a little tiny bit of added bulk and action to that chatterbait, which is gonna be great in those finessey situations. I plan on using something like this, maybe exactly this, a lot this fall. And of course, we could just Texas rig this thing. Another great option that has come out recently from Z-Man for Texas rigging would be this right here. We have this wobble head jig, okay? So we can just use our Texas rig weight, or you can have this sort of pre-rig. What's nice about these is that you have that right there, that little piece, okay? That piece is gonna help us keep this plastic on, so it's not gonna slide down like a standard EWG. It might slide around that elbow bend, especially with finesse EWG hooks. That's kind of how it goes. And we just thread that hook in there. We're completely weedless. These, by the way, come in super light weights, and having the eye on there can give you something else for fish to key in on. So this is something I'm excited to try out. This is, by the way, a 1/16 ounce. So nice, finessey, easy to cast on a BFS setup or a regular ultralight spinning setup. If we wanted to take that last rig and spice it up a little bit with a nice skirt, what we can do is we can grab something like this. This one comes from TMCO. Got this from the Bait Finesse Empire guys. If you want to check them out, click our link in the bio. This is available on there. It is a swing head jig, right? It's actually called the PDL Bait Finesse Evo jig. You got a little EWG down here so you can make this thing weedless. You add the skirt, so there's a little added bulk. This is like a great finessey fall tactic. If it's jig season, you can get this thing done, and it's got this nice kind of tapered head section up here so I can run this weedless through cover, and you're gonna get bit on this thing. I've caught a few fish on this using Finesse craws in the past, so I'm really excited to see how this jackworm performs, and I'm gonna be fishing it real soon, because it's fall. And finally, I wanted to show another modified option here. So if I were to cut the worm down again, leaving the curly tail section, another great option would be take a Finesse jig like this Kitech Mono Spin Jig, another one that I picked up from Bait Finesse Empire, and you got your skirt, you got a ball head there, you have a little tiny, kind of basically pointless weed guard, and these things get bit though. Super light. They come in a variety of different weights. They are super light, and they absolutely are fish catchers. Add this little curly tail, and you can add a little moving action to it. Get that curly tail kind of, this tail stuck to me, and I just flung it across the room. Oh no. Where'd you go? As I was saying before I was so rudely interrupted by my klutziness, we'll get that tail action going, and this thing is gonna get bit. So there you have it. There's 5 different rigs that we'd recommend trying out. Obviously, you can straight Texas rig this thing, and you can rig it a million different ways. Like I said at the beginning of this video, this might be the most versatile plastic that is out there. We love the Donkey Tail, we love the Donkey Tail Junior. Then we got the Minnow, and I was like, okay, the Minnow is pretty versatile, because it is. You can throw that on a Ned, you can throw a drop shot, you can Texas rig that, Finesse as well. There's all sorts of different things you can do with that. Then we got the Craw, which I was pumped about. Obviously, you get that up on jigs, but it also excels on the drop shot and micro Texas on itty bitty hooks, like the little Hobbit hooks we've been throwing from Ryugi. Now we get the Jackworm, which again, might be the ultimate option, because we can drop shot this thing, we can Ned rig it, we can throw out spinner baits, chatter baits, jigs, Texas rig. What else did I put it on here? Swing jigs, I don't know, you name it, there's an option for it out there. This thing's insane. So kudos to Mule Fishing for coming out with yet another amazing Finesse plastic that you guys should be checking out. And big time shout out to Mule Fishing for putting out yet another high value product. There are 8 to a pack in these things, and it's only $5.49. So with a hyper durable plastic, that's insanely cheap, considering they're going to last a long time. And even if they break, it just means that you cut it down further and re-rig it in a different way, on a different bait. So even after it dies, because it gets bit up a whole bunch, it still excels in just a different form. It like constantly evolves. This is the craziest thing out there. Bam, Jackworm. Go pick up a bunch. You can use our Mule Fishing link in the description below. We appreciate you guys for checking them out, supporting a small company that deserves everything. Go check out Mule Fishing. We love Ethan, we love the company, we love the products, and we hope you guys do as well. We also hope you go out and you fish it real soon and you catch a whole bunch of fish. Thanks for watching, you guys. And as always, if you guys like the content, be sure to subscribe so you can see more like this. I'm gonna go fish. I'm gonna go try, I should probably go fish these things right now. So I'm gonna go do that, and I'll see you guys on the next one.